Today we're going to be doing an unboxing of NB Power's version of a QS motor. It's supposed to be their version of a QS 205, and when we compare this to my buddy's 5,000 watt motor, this does appear to be much thicker and beefier. So without further ado, let's get to unboxing. Okay, let's see what we got. We're not gonna use that. We're gonna swap out this rotor for the stock Aniioki one. So when I ordered this, we actually thought it was gonna be a single wheel, but that is a nice surprise. Hopefully this motor will fit. If it doesn't, I am prepared to stretch out my frame a little. But today, we're gonna find out if it does fit or not. So first things first, we gotta remove the stock motor and take off the wheel, transfer the rotor onto this one, and see if we can fit the new motor into the dropouts. We're gonna be using this as our bike stand, and it works great. You guys can get one of these by robbing your local senior citizen home. Just kidding, don't do that. Shame on you guys. Unsubscribe right now if you're the type of person that does that. But yeah, I hear you can get these really cheap at Goodwill. I'm gonna loosen up the axle bolts first, and then I'm gonna put it onto the rack. Just loosen it a little bit. I'm actually gonna temporarily remove the fender also, just so that it's easier to remove this wheel and test fit our new motor. You know what? There's a bolt that I can't even reach to remove the fender fully. So we're gonna take the wheel off first and then remove the fender. Let's place a little rag right here so it's not metal on metal. Perfect. See, now the wheel is off the ground. Now we completely take off these bolts. Before I take the wheel off, I'm gonna remove the brake caliper. Once the brake caliper is off, be very careful not to squeeze the brake lever. If you do, that'll make the pistons pop out, and it's just gonna be a pain in the butt because you'll probably have to bleed your brakes. Oh, my dumbass forgot to disconnect the motor cable. No wonder why it was a little more difficult than usual. Silly me. Here we go. Guys, look at the size difference of these two motors. Jeez. Stock motor, obviously, and our fake QS motor. Before I even transfer the rotor, I'm just gonna see if this rim and motor will fit into our dropouts without any modifications. This is the moment of truth, but I don't know, it's looking pretty tight. Might have to stretch out the frame. Yeah, this motor is not fitting. I think we gotta stretch the frame about an inch to an inch and a half. Damn. This is probably a very bad idea, but I've come too far to give up. This is a car jack that's usually kept with my spare tires. I got my car jack on with some towels, and we started at 7¼ inches wide, and we are currently at 8 inches. So I'm gonna go a little bit more until 8¼ and we'll test it from there. I've never done this before. This is pretty scary for me. But no turning back. We gonna talk about it, or we gonna be about it. It's 8¼ Whew. I have a feeling that the frame is stretching back towards the center. Like it's getting tighter again. I doubt it's gonna work. Yeah, nope. Let's continue stretching. I think I gotta stretch it to 9 inches for it to stay at like 8¼ Oh snap! It's at 8½. A little tiny bit less than 8½. Oh, maybe it'll fit. Moment of truth. Is the axle too thick to even fit my dropouts? Motherfucker. Oh my gosh. I might have to grind down my dropouts. Okay, so this motor will fit width-wise But now, the axle seems to be too thick for the dropouts. It's very strange. I'm gonna double check. If not, I'm gonna grind out the dropouts to make it a little bit bigger. So these axles are definitely thicker than the 3 and the 5 kilowatt NB power motors. So now I gotta go grab a file and grind out the dropouts to have a little more clearance. I got this file right here, and I'm gonna attempt filing upwards instead of down here because there's a lot more real estate to work with. I've grinded aluminum before, and it seems like that was much easier than this because remember, this is steel. I don't even know if I can grind steel out. Watch, there's gonna be someone that works with metal in the comments just laughing at me. By the way guys, if you want to avoid all this headache, you can just contact NB Power and ask for a 3000 watt or 5000 watt motor. The only reason why I have to do this is because I'm trying to put the QS motor in there. But yeah, just ask for the 3 or 5 kilowatt motor with a 7-speed for 170 to 175 millimeter dropouts. That'll save you a lot of time and headache from having to file this down and stretching out your frame. Okay, after about an hour of freaking grinding and grinding, it is finally all the way in there. That's what she said. And the other side looks good too. Cool, cool. So now we're gonna take this off and then change out the rotors. And I know I'm touching the rotor, but don't worry, I'm gonna clean this later. Before I put this screw back into the rotor, I should mention I highly recommend using blue Loctite to help secure these screws in place. It's not a permanent bond, but it just fills up the little gaps so that this doesn't unscrew while you're riding. It's happened to me before, and while your wheel turns and this screw starts to come up, it'll slice and dice your motor cable. So keep this locked down by using blue Loctite. Okay, now that the rotors are swapped, man, look how nice that rotor looks. Now that the rotors are swapped, we got to take off the inner tube from this tire, transfer it over, and install the motorcycle tire. Oh shoot, I almost forgot. We don't have a liner on this yet. So instead of using a liner like this, I'm just going to use this Gorilla Tape, which is pretty much duct tape, but it's a lot thicker. It's a lot stronger. I've actually done this before with a 60 mile per hour bike, and it worked perfectly fine. This stuff is strong. Now that we have our fake rim tape on there, we can get started on the motorcycle tire. Man, I scraped the shit out of my rim, but it's just cosmetics. I'll probably Sharpie over that. Okay, so I was trying to fill the tire up with air and it just wouldn't get past 6 psi. And then I realized that I punctured a hole in it while I was doing it. Either I punctured a hole in it or there was already a hole, but I'm pretty sure I punctured a hole. So I'm gonna go to my local bike shop and go grab a tube, and the mechanic over there is gonna try to help me put the tire on. But if he can't, then I'm gonna do this again. Jeez, this freaking sucks. Okay, we stopped by AutoZone to get these tire iron sets. They look like they're gonna work really well, much better than my screwdriver. And now we're on our way to a local bike shop to go get the tube. What up, bro? I just stopped by AutoZone and got tire levers, metal ones, so that might help us. All right, I'm back home now. My man Vinny, the bike mechanic, was able to help me get new tubes and the tire on. However, I did give him permission to scratch up the rim because I already did so. And then I took one of his Sharpies and I just went around the rim. I'm gonna go over it again with paint or another Sharpie, but to be honest, I don't really care. So now we're gonna take this and finally get it into our dropouts. It's finally in, for the most part. There we go. Now that the tire is on and mounted, I'm gonna put this torque arm on. I gotta drill a new hole. We're gonna start small and move our way up. Finished drilling my hole. And now I'm just gonna bolt this on. Okay guys, everything's all mounted up now and it's looking pretty good, except because I stretched out the frame, this caliper sits too far from the rotor. So I have an idea of taking this old adapter that I have, and I'm going to use it as a spacer. The only problem is that these get in the way, so I'm going to get my Dremel and cut these out real quick. Can't believe I did it, but I cut off those pieces from the old adapter, and then I use it as a spacer for the stock bikes, the stock Aniioki's adapter. And it works. I just gotta line up the caliper and tighten those down. That's gonna be it for today. I mean, it's on there, guys. The motor's on there. Tomorrow we're gonna clean this up a little bit and then probably install the batteries. Alright, that's gonna be it for this one. If you guys have any questions, I'll be in the comment section. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace!